Welcome everybody to Eye of the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So today's pick a card, I think, will focus in on a relationship in your life. Now this can be a love relationship, it can be a friendship, it can be a family relationship, a work colleague, really anything, a social colleague in some sort of social activity you do, whatever it is, that you would like to get a little bit more clarity on what's actually going on in that relationship. It could even be a past relationship that you want to understand what happened if it's now no longer in your life. So that's really up to you. What we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the energies between you and this person, either now or when there was an issue if you're no longer in each other's lives. And we'll look at conscious and unconscious thoughts and feelings and some other energy around that, just to sort of see how the relationship dynamic is operating. I will probably talk about it on two kind of levels, romantic and non-romantic, so that we cover both. And that's about all I really need to say about it. I mean, this is a reading. And if you are actually, what I would say is you can certainly go to more than one pile if you like, but I would suggest maybe thinking about, different people for that, and then tuning in on what you feel of these sort of like almost visual cues might be the best one to kind of show some of the energy that you feel was either in or is in the relationship to help with the choice. So, as I say, probably don't need to say much more than that, except that we are using the Emotive Expressions Oracle here to get a sense of the energy. This is meant to be almost the combined energy. And then there's a couple of other cards under each to sort of show you and the other person as a starting point, and then we'll build out with tarot. And you'll see as I go through that how we're doing it. So for pile number one, this is a visual cue for the energy that might be in the relationship. For pile number two, this is, and for pile number three, this is. So go to more than one if you like, as I say, but when you know what reading or readings you want to go to, I've got the timestamps in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome, pile one, to your reading. So you come to the reading with this, I think, quite lovely sort of expression. I mean, to me, that energy looks happy. It looks engaged. It looks like there's fun. It looks like if you saw each other, you'd be, generally and genuinely happy to see each other. So I think there is at the very least, a friendship here, or a good working relationship, or a good family relationship. If it's a love relationship, I'd say it's fairly new, or it has that kind of youthful sort of feeling to it. It's kind of exuberant. But what is interesting is that I think you are a little bit not necessarily wary of the relationship, but you're waiting to see what happens. The other person is very enthusiastic because this is the energy the other person will be building out from here. And this is your energy. So it almost feels to me like either the other person that you're thinking about is the dominant energy in a way in the relationship. Now, this doesn't mean they dominate you. It's just that if one was describing the energy of it, it's almost like their enthusiasm is kind of infectious and takes over. They are a very sort of like, there's a youthful feeling to it. For some of you, it may be that the other person is younger because they look kind of younger potentially, but it doesn't have to be that. It just might be a very youthful, exuberant sort of feeling, and that kind of overtakes it. It's like whether it's a friendship or a love relationship, when you're together, this person gets excited about it, they're happy, and even if you are a little bit like, is this either too good to be true, or I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, or like really calm down a bit. That's the energy that you're giving off. Now, it doesn't mean that you think it's a bad relationship. It just means that you're careful. That's a very studied sort of look. It's I'm waiting to see. I'm not close to this. I'm not anti the person. I don't feel like there's an anti energy here. But I feel like you may, in whatever type of relationship this is, whether it's work, love, friendship, family, you've been burnt a bit more than the other person, I'd say. And so as a result of that, you're just a little bit more wary. So we'll bear that in mind as we go through. But overall, the first energy I've here, at least towards you, feels good. You may be, I think you're a little bit, the jury's out and we'll see what happens. It's another reason why I feel like this is a relatively new relationship in whatever form it is. Or you may have some, if this is work, you may have some almost managerial leadership responsibility over this person, and they really want to impress you and get on with you. And you might be going, okay, but I have to have some boundaries around it. So it depends on the type of relationship. So what we're going to do is we're going to, first of all, have 6 cards for them, 6 cards for you, using two different decks so that we can see if there's any similarities. And it's just the overall energy between you. Then after that, we're going to look at conscious and unconscious thoughts and conscious and unconscious feelings. So for them in general in relation to you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And for you, sorry if you can't see this, I'm just trying to work this out with the camera to make sure that you can see the cards. So we'll just move this up a bit as well too. So for you in relation to them in general, 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is interesting. 4, 5, 6. Okay. So I'm going to talk first if it's a love relationship, and then I'll talk about other types of relationships. I think for most of you this probably isn't a love relationship, though it could be the other person may be interested if that sort of like fits with the dynamic overall. The other person is very quick to make decisions, and they feel there's a kind of a destined connection or a karmic connection with you. I think they look to you for wisdom as well. So as I say, there's this youthful exuberance. I feel like you're the kind of, if you're not actually chronologically older, you're the kind of older soul in a way. And they do recognize that. They think there's a very strong spiritual energy. And they're prepared to wait if it is around love. And for a lover here, you're not lovers at the moment, I would say. Or if you are, it's a bit on and off. They would really like the whole box and dice. They would like to be with you. It might be that you would have to separate out from some other family relationships or some other relationships, or it might be that they didn't have the happiest of childhoods or whatever, but they feel like with you, this is a love relationship that would feel like home and feel good. But it's interesting. I feel like they have this sort of bouncy exuberance, and they really like you. And if it is around a love relationship, they really think you could be the one. But they're also kind of realistic. It looks like they picked up that you have some doubts. And they don't want, what I don't think they want to do is to lose the friendship as a result of if that didn't work out. So they'd prefer something more, but they're kind of open to other prospects. And if this is a love relationship for you, I don't think you're really feeling it, I have to say. There's no emotional energy there. We will see when we look at conscious and unconscious feelings, something might come up. But at the very least, it could be someone who's around you, and you might already be in a marriage or a very committed relationship. So it's sort of someone who'd love to win you over, but it's just not going to be that because it's not a choice that you would make. And you're wary. You are wary for some reason. The Queen of Swords coming up, the Knight of Swords reversed. Like your mind rules your relationships, particularly if it's around love. You will not go into something without being very sure. And I think you feel that this person doesn't really see you for who you are. They're kind of projecting something on you, or you just feel like no, or you don't feel that they're mature enough or something like that. Now, if it's not a love relationship, then there's a very strong friendship here, and I wouldn't mind betting, again, if it sort of fits with their preferences and all that kind of thing, that they might have a crush on you. But as I say, I don't think that they would want to lose the friendship, so they're not going to push that if that's the case. And they do, as I say, if you were working with them, they see you as a bit of a mentor or a leader. I don't think this is a family connection. I mean, it could be with this, but if it's the case, then either they or you have separated out from the family a lot and they still want the connection. So it's more likely to be a friendship, but this person is quite smitten with you, whether it's sort of like for romance or just in general. But they do see you as being the person who'll decide. And I think there could be some history. I mean, whether it's a love relationship or not, there could be some history with this person that you know of in their life, or even that you were friends and you broke up as friendship and now they want to come back together again and be friends again. There's sort of something that they're having to be realistic about. And if it's a non-love relationship, if it's a work one, I feel like the jury is out. I don't think that you are necessarily not seeing them, well in a workplace, or necessarily not seeing them well for a business thing. I mean, you seem to have some sort of like judgmental authority here, but I think you're not sure yet. What would they contribute? If this is sort of someone that you're interviewing for a job, you're not entirely sure whether they're the right fit, for instance. So there's something like that. You have some ambivalence in relation to them. So let's sort of see conscious and unconscious. So I think we'll start with thoughts, because I think you're very in your head about this relationship. So that's going to be the most telling thing for you. Whereas they're very in their heart. So when we get to the feelings, it's going to be the most telling for them. But the top row is going to be conscious and the bottom row is going to be unconscious. And we're going to look at thoughts at this point first. So their conscious thoughts in relation to you: world reversed, Seven of Cups, death reversed. Their unconscious thoughts in relation to you: Queen of Wands, Four of Pentacles, the Emperor reversed. Okay. Your conscious thoughts about them: Five of Pentacles, Chariot, Eight of Pentacles reversed. Okay. Your unconscious thoughts about them. Oh, that's interesting. Queen of Wands, Ace of Cups. Okay. All right. There's some unconscious stuff with you. So this is interesting. This is quite a complex connection, I would say, because one of the things I feel really there when I look at conscious thoughts, this person is like unfinished business. I do think, particularly with the Six of Cups reversed there, that there might be some history here. Like, even if, like, it could be karmic history. You both could feel that there's some sort of connection from a past life, if it's not in this life, but there's some sort of, they have a sense, like they think there's something that's yet to be finished. They don't think they have a lot of choice over it. And they've somewhat idealized in their mind what this could be. So like this would be a classic actually for someone who thinks you're their twin flame, to be honest, if it's a love relationship, because it's like, oh, unfinished business, it's the ideal, but, like the other person has to be ready sort of thing. And particularly with the energy that you might be giving off. So I think it's a bit like that, soul twin flame sort of energy, how they view it if it's a love relationship. And if it's not a love relationship, then I think they think there's a karmic connection here. And I think they do think that this could be a very ideal connection, but they know that you are the one who's going to choose about it. Consciously, you don't know how to fully connect with this person. And there's a part of you that kind of almost just wants to move away from it. But on the other hand, you sort of sense that it's a matter of using the mastery of understanding relationships. Like there's something about this person that makes you wary, but you also kind of feel like you are able to understand them enough to be able to master whatever that is. So I feel like there's history here of some sort. So consciously you're sort of, I don't know if they want to get too close, but you are kind of agreeing there's something destined here, and you do feel that you have the ability to deal with it. And in its own way, sometimes the Eight of Pentacles is not putting enough effort in. I mean, a lot of the time when it's reversed, most of the time I think of it as mastery, but sometimes it can be that. So it could be that you feel or you think that either you're not putting enough effort into it. If you put more effort into it, maybe that you'd connect. You're just not sure if you want to do that. Or you may feel that they're all kind of like froth and bubble and like ideas, but they're not going to like progress something. So it's all kind of up in the air, whether it's a love relationship or something else. I think for a lot of you, this isn't a love relationship unless it's one of those twin flame type things. I think it's much more likely to be like a work relationship or a friendship or something. But it's interesting. You both kind of, either you both know that this person admires you, because my first instinct here, actually I thought this was like the Queen of Wands. I read that like the Queen of Wands, and it's the Seven of Wands. Isn't that interesting? Because as I put it down, I thought it was the Queen of Wands. And that usually tells you something when I misread a card. So I think for them, they unconsciously have to get the courage because they look up to you. You know they look up to you. Unconsciously, you know that. And unconsciously, you feel the heart opening, but you think there's something else underneath this. So unconsciously, you're wary, but you can sense it. Like you can sense whatever's coming from it. They feel they need the courage to even try and put a basis on this. And they do see you as the boss. Like you are, and there's a frustration in it because like on a conscious level, they just think you get to choose. On an unconscious level, they feel a little bit like you're being a bit too bossy. But equally, they want this. They want the connection. What about feelings then? What is the conscious and unconscious feelings? So they're conscious feelings in relation to you. The Empress. See, look at this. They see, like, on a conscious level, you're the ideal. Regardless, it doesn't matter about the gender. You're the ideal. But unconsciously, there's a little bit of ambivalence around this, even for them. Nine of Wands, the Moon. And what do they unconsciously feel? Wheel of Fortune, the Fool reversed. Wow. This is, from their perspective, this is a very powerful connection, whether it's a loved one or a work one, whatever it is. What about you? What are you consciously feeling about them? Queen of Pentacles reversed, Seven of Swords, Temperance. And what are you unconsciously feeling about them? Two of Swords, Ace of Wands, Two of Wands reversed. Okay. So consciously they see you as this aspirational, divine feminine, psychic, spiritually connected, all of this kind of thing. There's a lot. They put a lot into this. They see you as very pivotal in their life. And you're aspirational in a way. You're also someone who inspires them when they're feeling a bit lost or unable to complete things, which is interesting given the energy I was getting from you, which is almost where you're not sure if they complete things or whether they see things through, or whether it's around a work situation, a friendship, love, or whatever it is. They may look to you always for that. And that might be one of the things that makes you feel a bit wary, because you might be like, they've got to find their own path. That kind of energy. Like at its worst, and I don't think this will be the case for most of you, if any, but like at its worst, this could be a bit of a mini-me situation to you. And so you could be ambivalent because you feel like they're almost trying to be you. That is a possibility. But they definitely put a lot of store by you. And unconsciously as well, too. You've got three major arcana cards. They think this is destiny. They think the connection with you is destiny. They feel like they know you from somewhere else, or you do have history and it's got to work out. And they feel tied to it. Like, as I say, if this is a love thing, they see you, whether they think these terms or not technically, they see you like a twin flame or a soul twin. But there is a little bit, and maybe you're responding to this, it feels a little bit like someone who wants someone to control and dominate them in a way. And they might resent it a little bit when it happens, but they also want it. And I think there's something that's making you ambivalent. And you, on a feeling level, it's hard for you to commit to anything here because you just feel like there's something else going on. And you're only prepared to emotionally commit to someone, whether it's a friend, lover, workmate, or whatever, when you feel they're in balance and you don't feel this person is entirely in balance. And unconsciously, you feel like it's hard to make a decision about whether to move forward or not. Like you do, I think you do like them, but I think you just feel like it's too much. I feel like they're too enthusiastic and too it's you and it's only you, whether it's love or a workmate or whatever. I think you're trying to wait and see if they calm down a bit and how it plays out, because I think it's almost like you sense they're pushing you into being the decider and the boss and all that kind of thing. And you don't necessarily want that. So I think you're just waiting to see if they calm down. That's the energy around it. So it's an interesting energy. So let's have a look at astrology. I'm going to use the Astro dice. And I'm going to do two rolls for them for energies that they show that you're experiencing. And then I'm going to do two rolls for you for energy they experience from you. So we just sort of see that. May represent things in their chart or your chart. It doesn't have to literally. It's just to get a general energy. So firstly, Mars in Taurus in the 8th house. Yeah, the 8th house, this is all this sort of spiritual, it's destiny, we're connected psychically, it's magic, all of that kind of thing. Also very, very intense around sort of intimacy. If it is a love relationship, this person is all in, and they really want, and they're stubborn and they want what they want, and they're likely to keep pursuing you. If this is a love relationship, this person just keeps pursuing, you're going to have to make a decision whether to let them do that or not. If it's not around love, then this person, like other people's resources, they may see you as a very important point of action to work for, connect with, or whatever to create the life that they want to create. So they want to be connected to you work-wise or something like that. If this is like friendship or family, then there may actually be, as I say, this sort of both a direction towards and also maybe a little bit of hidden resentment around where you are sort of like financially and in terms of your life compared to them. Okay, and another one for what they experience or what they're showing to you, sorry, what they show to you. Okay, so, okay, and then, oh yeah, and then this is the dreamy side. And the wanting the long-term commitment and the psychic connection, Neptune in the 7th house in Cancer. You're like home to them, you know, you're a nurturing home energy. They want that. I just feel like they're a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. Don't think they mean harm, but I think they're a bit overwhelming. What about you? What do they experience of you? Sun in the 5th house, very creative, very romantic, ideal Cancer. Oh yeah, you are. I would absolutely have to say, even if you aren't in a love relationship, on a kind of energetic level, you're like an ideal lover to them. Even if it's the preferences don't fit or whatever, there's something like that going on. They also see you as very creative, very charismatic, that kind of energy, and someone they feel safe with. And we have Neptune in the 1st house in Pisces. Yeah, this is the kind of almost mini-me type feeling I get, or, single white female type. There's a sort of a Neptunian, there's a merging with you. They want to merge with you. They want their identity to be similar to you. And like Pisces is very much a Neptune. They're very merging energies. I think that's why you have a certain degree of ambivalence. And as I say, I don't think it's because there's harm. And I think you can see that there is a prospect here in whatever type of relationship it is. But it would be one you'd have to handle fairly carefully because of the intensity of this that's operating. Okay, what an interesting relationship. So what I wanted to close out with is firstly to give a song energy for them, for you, and for the combined energy between you. And then we're just going to use another tarot deck just to sort of get a synthesizing message when you choose 1 to 5 at the end. But complex relationships. So let's see a song energy that also shows how they view this connection. And if it's challenging, it shows a challenge they see. If it's not challenging, it shows part of what they're idealizing, I would say. We'll look at the same for you, and then we'll look at the combined energy between you. So for them, the Joker. Okay, so maybe, see, that's really interesting. I think they may overcompensate. I think, like that exuberance, they may joke around, they may pretend it's very light and all that kind of thing, but I don't think that is what the energy is from them. So I think they may be trying to appear to be a lot more lighthearted, and you're picking that up because there's a lot of depth to this, but they might be trying to make, particularly if this is like a love relationship and it's kind of casual at the moment and you're not sure, they're trying to make out that, but you're picking it up because there's more than that. So I just think there's a kind of a big grin on the face because it was there and there, but there's a lot more underneath it. What about for you? Don't fear the Reaper. Okay, yeah. So you think it's a lot more intense. And you're not wrong. This person is trying to come across as being light, exuberant, fun, but there's an intensity there, and you're picking up the intensity. Yeah, and that's got all the karmic sort of energy to it as well. So what's the combined energy between you? Lion eyes. Yeah, you don't trust it. And maybe ultimately they may not trust you either. I don't think, if you are lion eyes, you're thinking they're trying to sort of like with fun and lightness or whatever, sort of like make you feel like you're the one, but in fact there's others. You are the one. That's the case. So I don't really think it's that. I think it's more that you think there's something else underneath this, and they may start to think the same about you. Actually, I think it's what is the fundamental thing here that I think is problematic is that I don't think they think a lot about this sort of stuff. It's very much in their feelings and their sense spiritually of these sort of like really important relationships. They're very, very intense. Whereas I think you think a lot and therefore you're a lot more guarded. And it's sort of like, even if the energy between you, I think, is primarily positive, it's like there's a fundamental misunderstanding. So I do think there's a challenge. But let's see what we would synthesize with this. So choose a number between 1 and 5. Pause if you have to, because that tarot card will give us the last synthesizing message. So number 1, 3 of Wands reversed. Number 2, the Hierophant. Number 3, the World. Number 4, the 10 of Wands. Number 5, the 2 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. If you chose number 1, there's a nice energy between you, but you're right. You're not heading in the same direction. That's ultimately the issue. I think you would find it hard, whether it's in a workplace, whether it's a friendship, whether it's sort of family and you're going off on your direction or whatever. There's something where you are parting company. So it's going to be harder for them than for you, I think. But you're just heading in different directions. And it's even like sometimes I think what happens in relationships is around love is you can come together almost like you're heading in the same direction, but you're actually almost like you're coming together like this and you're actually heading off in different directions after that. So, and you could be sensing that and knowing that, whereas they're thinking you're about to kind of change course and be with them. But I think if you chose number 1, it's probably not, you're heading in different directions. If you chose number 2, this would work very well as a relationship if you were kind of a teacher and a guide and a mentor to them, or if you were comfortable with being that kind of role in a love relationship. There is a very strong spiritual connection between you. I think you have to take care about what responsibility you're prepared to take on in this relationship. But if you are prepared to take that on, then they will be very happy and appreciative of that. And you will, I think, start to kind of realize that this can work and that they are really trying to meet whatever your expectations are. If you chose number 3, this relationship is either in whatever form it is, work relationship, friendship, love, family, whatever. It's either going to come together and come into balance despite all of this. You will get over the issues, or it is over. And, once you've kind of worked through that, any karma or any other connection is done. So it kind of depends. It's going to either really connect or this is the last incarnation. You definitely have karmic history. If you chose number 4, this person will be a lot of a burden for you. You need to think about whether you're prepared to do that, and if so, what boundaries to put around it. And if you chose number 5, then this person is so intense you won't have a lot of choice. Like, you're going to have to wait for their intensity to ease off and either then feel comfortable connecting with them, or you're just going to have to wait till that eases off so that they're not always constantly messaging you and texting you and wanting to meet up, because I feel like with that you feel almost like you don't have a lot of choice around that, so you're waiting on them to kind of calm down and meet your level or move away. So I hope that this resonates for you. I hope it was helpful. It's a very complex relationship, but I hope it helped. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 2, to your reading. So this is going to be an interesting one, I think. This is the combined energy in it. I think if you were drawn to that image, there's a certain sense of like either tiredness, wariness, waiting to see what happens sort of energy. I think you're picking that up from the other person in whatever relationship this is, because this represents how they are in relation to you at the moment. This represents how you are in relation to them. So I'm going to say a few things about different types of relationships, and then we will look at the tarot. One of the things that this could be is some sort of a relationship between friends where I would feel that you feel, positive and confident in this relationship. Not necessarily, compared to the other person, I think. Like, you're doing well, you're enjoying things, and you want to just enjoy the relationship. But the other person is feeling like they're not doing as well, they're feeling listless or whatever, and maybe feeling like you're outshining them. And that could become an issue if we see sort of cards that suggest jealousy or competition. So you really like her, you like the energy or whatever, but we're getting this combined energy, which is like very positive to kind of world weary, wary, tired, resentful, all the kind of things that energy is. There's something like that going on. If it's in a friendship, I think there's competition. You're ahead in the competition, or they perceive you as ahead in the competition. So you need to be aware of that, because that you may not even know that's happening. You may not even think of the relationship that way. If it is a work situation, similarly, I think there's something boiling under the surface in anything where there could be competition, work, friendship, siblings, family members. You look like you are more confident in general than they are, and there is a kind of a resentment or a tiredness. Or they are very tired and they're very much relying on you. And the other issue around that is, do they draw you into that energy or do you draw them out of that energy? So it's sort of like it's either you've got a competitor issue that you have to deal with, or you've got one where your own natural vibrancy may sort of like be almost siphoned off in a kind of almost emotional vampiric way. Now, if this is a love relationship, I don't know that it's going to last, to be honest. I feel like they are not feeling the connection, or they are somehow feeling that you are too dominant in some way. So it's an interesting energy. And the whole point about this is, what do you need to know about this relationship? And you do need to know this, because I don't think by and large you're too aware of it. I think you feel you're kind of on an even sort of level and it's going along nicely, but they're not feeling that. And that, you're probably going to gradually see that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a deck for them and a deck for you. We're going to start with the overall energy, 6 cards each from tarot for that. Then we're going to look at conscious and unconscious thoughts and conscious and unconscious feelings. So bearing all of that in mind, and I'll try and sort of maybe talk first about, I feel this is primarily more likely to be friendship, siblings, work colleagues or something like that. It doesn't feel like a love connection, but I will talk about it if it is to start with, and then we'll say any other type of relationship. So their energy in relation to you at the moment. Pile 2. The Fool, the 7 of Swords, the Emperor, the 3 of Swords, the 2 of Wands, reverse, the 9 of Cups. Actually, this makes me think some of you, I said at the beginning, might be actually looking at a relationship that broke up. For some of you, that might be what's going on here. So that might be, you may be a lot happier after that than they are. If that applies, it's only if that applies. What about you in relation to them? Empress reversed, Knight of Wands reversed, 7 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups, Page of Swords reversed, Magician reversed. Okay, all right. You kind of do know actually that this is going on. Or as I say, it's a past relationship. Looking at it as love, and then we'll move beyond that. If this is a love relationship that either has passed, separated, or is going on at the moment, it's either has separated or they're heading towards separating. It's not, for whatever reason, they don't feel that it's heading in the direction of what they would dream of or whatever. They feel overwhelmed by you. They feel like you're more powerful. They feel like you're more dominant in the situation. And they're not entirely sure if they trust you. And it is possible that maybe they shouldn't. I'm being really blunt here with this over here, or it might be that neither of you trust each other. That both of you are actually trustworthy, but each are worried or wondering about that. They feel like a bit of a babe in the woods compared to your energy, and they feel like you're the dominant energy. So, and they may not be honest with you, or they could be trying to take something from you. It could be a competition with 7 of Swords there. They have a direction they want to go in. Or they, if this isn't a workplace and it's sort of, you think it's a friendship, it's somebody who wants the job that you also want and they really want to prove it against you. There's that kind of energy. So it just depends. And if it's, siblings or friends, they do want to separate and go off on their own. They don't feel like, for whatever reason, they don't feel like you're on the same path, and they probably don't trust you, and they feel like you're too dominant. So it's tricky. I have to say, if for you, well, in general, if this is a love relationship, then you don't feel it's very nurturing or caring on any level, and you don't feel like it's very passionate. But you can still see it growing. Like you're kind of content enough with it and you feel strong enough in yourself. You may not even be looking for a particularly passionate or nurturing relationship. You just might one that you think that looks like makes sense, and it's so an example of this could be if you're sort of looking for a power couple. You might think this other person is a good partner as a power couple and you're really successful and really good at doing what you need to do and all that kind of thing. So you're looking for that. You're not as emotional about it. but you don't know if you can trust them for all of that. Again, I don't know if you care that much. So the interesting thing, because you look kind of happy in yourself, but I think this is probably that you're picking up that there's something going on. Like it appears to be, a good relationship on some levels. It's growing. It sort of seems to be stable, but it's like maybe it's not moving any further. You're happy enough at the moment, but you're wondering what's going on under the surface. So that could be going on. And if it's not love relationship, then I think like you're kind of it's okay if it grows and it's part of the material thing, but again you're not sure whether to trust them, and I think you can sort of say I think you're both feeling like it's probably going to separate out. So if there is competition, I think you are aware of it, but you're confident enough in yourself around it. So let's see conscious and unconscious thoughts, and then we'll look at conscious and unconscious feelings. So they're conscious thoughts, which will be the top row. Two of Cups, Ten of Cups reversed, King of Pentacles. Wow, okay. And they're unconscious thoughts. Tower, wow. Ten of Wands, Ace of Cups reversed. Oh, this is interesting. All right, and then what about you? Conscious thoughts. Queen of Swords, Eight of Wands, Six of Swords reversed. Unconscious thoughts. Ten of Swords reversed. Ace of Wands. Knight of Swords reversed. I've got to say, I actually don't think this is a love relationship between you, but I think you might be rivals in love. That's a possibility. Because up here we've got there's something, they're thinking about a relationship. But it seems to be, I feel like it's with another person. And it's not really about gender. I don't know what your gender is or theirs. It's not really about that. But I feel like they don't feel like this connection would make for a long-term commitment, but they are looking for love. So if this is a love relationship, they're already in the exit lounge, I have to say. They want something they feel committed to and equal partners to, and they're not feeling that. And I'm not saying you're doing anything to make this. This could just be their own insecurities, but that's going on. Otherwise, they may be rivals for somebody's attention. Over here, in terms of your thoughts consciously, you are thinking about this. You are thinking something's not right anymore. And there's a sense that you want to spend a little less time around this person as a result. And you want to be a bit freed from it because you feel like it's weighing you down to some extent. Unconscious thoughts. This is having a very big, no wonder they look tired with the Tower and the Ten of Wands. They overthink this too much. And it's really detaching themselves from their heart and from any good feeling. I think this person's very jealous of you. They're in competition with you, or they're very jealous of you. And they're likely to project that out a lot. And you're picking it up unconsciously. You can sense the kind of competitive energy. I feel like that's what the Ace of Wands is doing. So you're slowing everything down. So it's sort of like, it feels most like friendship where you felt it was a good friendship and you were confident and you thought they were confident, but you're just starting to get to this energy because it's like, hang on, they're always criticizing, they're always picking at everything, they're always competing, they're always making out like you're a problem or something. There's something like that going on in this dynamic. Let's have a look at feelings, conscious and unconscious. So they're conscious feelings in relation to you. Eight of Swords, Nine of Pentacles. Wow, Ten of Swords, okay. Now, they're unconscious feelings. Four of Wands, Six of Swords. The Sun, actually, that's very interesting. Okay, and what about your conscious feelings in relation to them? Page of Cups, Four of Pentacles, Judgment. And your unconscious feelings. Queen of Pentacles, Nine of Swords. Okay, I'm going to jump first to if it's a love relationship here, because I think it's talking mainly about that possibility, and then we'll talk about friendships and work colleagues or whatever. They are projecting a lot of stuff on you. Like in their feelings here, they think that they have to be alone, like that you're isolating them. There's lots of drama. It's all really difficult. They're being judged, and they project a lot of that. I would almost guarantee you this person criticizes you at any time they possibly can. But then if you try and sort of say anything back in defense, that will be taken as a criticism of them and they project it out. So there's that dynamic going on and they feel it. They feel like, they've taken that on because what they don't want to admit is what's really going on is that they do know this could be a really good relationship, but they're jealous. They're jealous of you. Even if it's a love relationship, they're jealous of you. And if it's a friendship or a work thing, that's what's going on. It's like it's competition. This is really about competition, but they're projecting a lot of that out. And so a love relationship is always going to be an issue because they're in competition with you, but they'll project all that out and make out that you're the one who's creating all the drama, when in actual fact they are. And they know that, but they don't want to admit it. And for you, you actually have some real feeling of warmth towards them. You thought something was there and you think something is significant. Like for you, it could be that if it's a love relationship, I suspect this is one of those it's interesting. It's a reverse of one of the other readings here where the other person thought that the person who'd be watching this was maybe a twin flame. You might think that about this person. It's a possibility with that, or that you have some karmic connection. And you would like it to be more stable, but you kind of worry about whether it can grow and whether it really has that potential. And whether, like a new pattern can be entered into because it's kind of necessary. If it's not a love relationship, as I say, and like a lot of this feels like a competitive friendship or something like that, you did really like the person and you want to be friends, but boy, they make it hard. And like it's because of the competition. Okay, so let's get astrology into it. Let's see a couple of rolls of the astro dice for how they come across to you and then how you come across to them. Like, so what's one aspect of them that you're experiencing? 10th house, Taurus, and the North Node. Yeah, there's a competition. Like definitely this would make a lot of sense around career, who you are in the world, all that kind of thing. This could very much be describing a competitive relationship at work or in career or in vocation or in being seen in the world. They think that they should be heading towards a certain good life and power or whatever. So there's a certain entitlement that you would be picking up from them. And if they feel you're further along the path, they're going to resent that. Okay. And secondly, we have Mars in the 8th house in Scorpio. Oh, Mars in the 8th house in Scorpio. Okay. Very, very intense feelings operating here. If it is a love relationship, there's a lot of intensity, but it's dramatized to all hell. And it's competitive, and it's almost aggressive, like probably mentally aggressive, but they project a lot of that out. Scorpio's worst can do that because it goes almost forensically in. It can also kind of like project its own issues forensically in. So there's something like that going on. But boy, it's intense if it is a love relationship. And that might be part of the problem because that could be there. And then it's hard to sort of like work out why the rest of this stuff's going on. What do they experience of you? Mars again in Pisces in the 4th house. Okay, so if this is competition, it could be because it's your siblings. For some of you, that's going to be the case. And it's competition that existed in the home that they felt very wounded by, that they found it hard to separate themselves out and individuate themselves out of your siblings. Otherwise, there's sort of something here. If you are together in some way, if you're flatmates or if your lovers living together, there is a lot of aggression operating in who is who and like what is the space. There's something about that. And otherwise, it's like who you are at your core. They want to absorb it. Wow. Okay. What else? And we have Pluto in the 4th house as well too, and Aquarius. Yeah. And you're able to detach in a way that they can't detach. They see you as being able to transform and have power and create what you want more than they can. So this is very, very competitive relationship, full stop. Sorry to say it if this is one that matters to you a lot. Let's have a look at some song energy. So we're going to do song energy for them to you, you to them, and the combined energy, just to sort of see what else we can understand. So them to you. Hooked on a feeling. Okay, if there's a love relationship, they kind of can't quit you, but on the other hand, they have all these ambivalent sort of issues and they're feeling sort of worn out. Otherwise, they're hooked on the feeling of competition, I would say. What about you to them? Crimson and clover. Okay. I think you thought that this was fine and you're starting to wonder, though, if you're being realistic, because Crimson and Clover is that really trippy song that kind of feels all very psychedelic and wonderful, but maybe isn't. So I think it's sort of like you're starting to shift and think about what's real going on. So then in whatever type of relationship this is, but you could care about this person. I think you do care about this person, but that's not going to change the dynamic necessarily between you. Let it be. Yeah, it is whatever it's going to is. You can't really shift it. This is so deeply ingrained in this person that it might be that, like it was showing from the beginning, a kind of separation. I think that's probably what's coming. I mean, if this is someone you love, you have to be really careful because they're going to be in competition with you all the time. And it's just and they're going to project a lot out. Anyway, let's try and synthesize this for you. So I'm going to ask you to choose a number between 1 and 5 to sort of like really, really hone in on the part of the collective that chooses each of those numbers as a synthesizing message. So pause if you need to, because I'm about to deal them out. So for number 1, 5 of Pentacles. For number 2, the Moon. For number 3, the 10 of Pentacles. For number 4, the 5 of Cups reversed. And for number 6, the Chariot reversed. Okay. If you chose number 1, you each feel alone in this relationship. You each feel alone. And there might be material competition as well going on. But you each kind of feel, them more than you. But I think that's going to shift because I think they're going to show more and more. They're going to project more and more out. So you're going to move from that into this middle space where you both feel, a little bit wary, a little bit ambivalent about it. If you chose number 2, there's a lot of stuff hidden here. A lot of stuff hidden, and you'll probably never get to the bottom of it. They'll probably never be honest about what they're feeling, and you've got to also be honest about whether you could be triggering some of this in them in some way. But it's like I think it's too deep to really get to. But you need to understand there is a lot of unconscious stuff, and there's a lot of feelings around it. If you chose number 3, I think it's most likely this is a family connection, or it could be that one of the challenges here is that each of you saw the other as potentially the long-term partner if it is a love relationship or a work partner. But if it's a work partner, I think, it's almost like you're the grown person and they're the younger person. So there's a dynamic about the materiality of this, and probably both of you thought there was real potential there, but as I say, unless they shift that energy, it'll gradually come more and more like the center. If you chose number 4, then you may already be very well aware of this and you're kind of getting over the disappointment and working out what to do. So I think it'll be at least surprising to anyone who chose number 4. If you chose number 5, it's out of balance and you sense it's out of balance and it's not going to get into balance, and so it's not going forward. I'm really sorry to say I do think this relationship is a bit too toxic to really last. But what I would say is I think that you really came to it with a good heart, and they probably did to start with, but they have a huge insecurity. So I hope that resonates at least and was hopeful for you in some way to know what to do, because it is a pretty heavy reading. But if it was helpful, please like and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Pile 3, to your reading. So you came to this reading with this very calm, I think sort of wise, measured sort of energy, which is interesting given how this comes across. This is you, this is the other person. And what really strikes me about this, now that this is the third one that I'm doing in the Pick a Card group, because it's Pile 3, is that Spirit was very specific about what do you need to know. These are all very complex relationships I'm looking at. They aren't the simple ones, whether it's a love relationship, a work relationship, a family relationship, a friendship. Because at its core, this is a good connection. I do get that strong feeling. There is a kind of a wisdom in it. But I feel as though you bring quite a bit of the wisdom to that energy. And the other person is going through some surprises or changes in their life. So I think you're a steadying sort of energy for them. I think that's part of what's going on. And if it's a love relationship, you're supporting someone through something, I think, at this point. Or they're a bit surprised and not really sure about their feelings or what to do, and they're half anticipatory and half scared almost. So you could be dealing with, you're trying to be calm and bring something to a level where it can be, and the other person could be a little bit fearful or something of a relationship. So it depends. But in its core, it's good, I think. But I think there is a maturity difference operating here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 6 cards for them. We'll use one deck for them and one deck for you. So 6 cards for them around their overall feeling, and then 6 cards for you around overall sort of energy. And then we'll look at conscious and unconscious thoughts and conscious and unconscious feelings. So given this kind of surprise energy, I mean, it's possible if this is a love relationship that this is the last thing the person expected to have happen at the moment. And you're kind of like, you're more calm in it because you sort of like, this feels right. And I was looking for something and they're a bit surprised. That's a possibility as well. Or, if you're employing them, they're surprised they got the job. There's just something. There's a bit of fear or a bit of surprise or something like that going on. So let's see what the energy is overall. King of Wands, 5 of Swords, Queen of Cups reversed, Page of Wands reversed, 2 of Pentacles, Knight of Swords. Okay. And then you, in relation to them, Knight of Pentacles, Hanged Man, 7 of Swords, Hermit, Fool, 4 of Swords reversed. Okay. So what I've been doing is kind of looking at it if it could be a romance first, and then looking at the other types of relationships. I don't really think this is a romance. If it is, it hasn't become that yet. It's just got the potential of it. I feel this is more about a relationship where someone may actually be able to look up to you or learn from you or something like that. It feels as though this person is a bit surprised in their energy with you, as it sort of showed there, because it may even be that you've forgiven them for something actually, and they're sort of a bit surprised that's happened, because this sort of looks like there could have been a battle or something, and they felt that they fell out with you in that battle. And therefore, like, the opportunities of being connected as a friend, as a work colleague, even as a lover, were kind of shut off. But like, it looks like you've probably forgiven them. And they're now kind of thinking, oh, I have to make a choice. I have to do something really fast. Like, there's an opportunity, but it's a brief window to be with you if it's a lover, to work with you, to become friends with you, or whatever. There was something. You had a falling out, or they felt that was the case, or you're in competition about something. But I think you've shifted that energy, and you're kind of open to them, particularly around working. But you're not going to hurry anything. Like, they want to hurry up. You're not going to hurry anything. It's sort of like, it feels more like a situation, whether it's, as I say, love, friendship, family, where they did something and you've forgiven them, but you're saying, like, they've got to kind of make good in a way. You're prepared to start again, but you need to see what they have to say and what they're going to do, because you don't it's something about this connection you don't need as much as in a way they need you. So you're kind of waiting to see, like, kind of put up or shut up is sort of the feeling around it. So regardless of whatever type of relationship it is, I do think it's basically good though. Whether it's love, friendship, or whatever. I don't think there's at core an issue, but I do feel there was some sort of a falling out. And they're really quite surprised to have this opportunity even to sort of still be connected with you, or whatever. So, and it could have been, if it's friends, it could have been kind of a competition over a lover or something like that. But they do know they did the wrong thing, I think. There's a sense there that they do know that, and they're a bit surprised they're getting this opportunity. So let's have a look at conscious and unconscious feelings. So the top row will be conscious and the bottom row will be unconscious. So they're conscious thoughts about you. High Priestess reversed. Ten of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, and their unconscious thoughts. Fool reversed, Page of Swords, Three of Pentacles reversed. Okay. And what about your conscious thoughts about them? Five of Pentacles reversed, Eight of Swords reversed, King of Swords reversed. Yeah, there's definitely been something where they did something that you are a little bit wary. You do need to be a little bit wary. Unconscious thoughts, Queen of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, Temperance. All right. So if this is lovers, then they know they know something came to the surface. So maybe they did. Maybe they cheated. Maybe they, lied to you about something or whatever. They know something's come to the surface. And they're thinking, however, that you are going to or have forgiven them. And there is a capacity to recreate something that's committed. Like it's kind of shocked them into thinking that that's necessary. But for you, it's kind of like, yeah, maybe, but I'm waiting to see. This is what it feels like. I'm waiting to see, is that happening just because you don't want to be alone, or is it because I can really trust that this is the right connection? And again, if it's a lover, what they're unconsciously thinking is, well, we can't just be friends. I want to communicate, and I want to have learned from the past. So they do actually want to move forward. Like if they've done something wrong, they do want to move forward. But you're being a bit wary, and unconsciously you're going, okay, I'm not going to commit till I know the balance is there. Now, if this is just friendships or it's family or workmates or whatever, again, there's something that they did has come to the surface, and maybe they're a bit surprised that you found out, but they still think that it can be repaired, and they know unconsciously they need to be more honest, and they need to not screw up again, basically, because otherwise that won't occur. Like the kind of the friendship will not repair. So they do know that. And you, as I say, you like watching just to sort of see, but you're kind of open to the concept that it could work out. You're just waiting to see how in balance it is. What about feelings? So what's their conscious feelings? Five of Cups reversed, Six of Wands reversed, Four of Cups reversed. Okay, and what about their unconscious feelings? The Tower reversed, Four of Wands reversed, Two of Wands. Okay. And what about you? Conscious feelings. Nine of Wands reversed, King of Wands. It does feel like there's maybe something about some male figure that's part of whatever was the contention. It's showing up a bit. It showed up quite a bit in the thinking with them, and now it's sort of showing up in the feelings with you. Unconscious feelings. Queen of Swords, Eight of Wands, Ten of Wands. Okay. So again, if there's a love relationship, and for some of you it will be, this is why I'm kind of spending quite a bit on both sides here, because some of the others didn't feel necessarily like romance, whereas this feels like it could be, but it also could be a very different type of relationship. If it is romance, their feelings, some of what's happened, they feel like they screwed up and they feel like they want to make up for that. But some of this is because it's actually, if you want to learn, if you want to move forward with this person, you need to learn that some of that is that they didn't feel seen. So I feel like if this is in a love relationship, they either flirted with someone or they strayed a bit or whatever. There's something like that going on. And they really don't feel that you see them fully. So that's part of the reasoning for it. Whether that's true or not is another matter. For you, you feel like they're a little bit prickly to deal with. And again, you kind of think, are you only with me so you're not alone? Whereas I don't actually think that's what's going on. I think they just don't feel seen. So like their actions made you think that or feel that. Their unconscious feelings is that they want to restructure this. They feel still that there's still some tension, and they want to be on the same page. Your unconscious feeling is the jury's out. You're not sure if you want to stay or go. And there's part of you that's not sure if it's too much work. So they're not wrong for picking this up. But I think that if you get the aha moment that maybe anything they did that was wrong was just they wanted more attention from you, they actually do want to be with you. There is something good there. And if this is a non-love relationship, then there's something like a friendship, family, whatever it is, work. They didn't feel seen. They want to restructure that. They want to repair whatever happened because something happened. And for you, again, it's like you feel they're a bit difficult and you're wondering about their motivations. But I think their motivations are pretty pure, actually. I don't feel this is like duplicitous. Let's see with astrology, like let's get a couple of rolls of the astro dice for part of the energy that you're getting from them, and then we'll get you what they're getting from you. So one of the energies that sort of would describe what you're picking up from them is, wow, Saturn and Virgo in the third house. They're really trying to be more mature and more clear and more honest and more reliable around what they say. Yeah, there's a lot of guilt. They've got a lot of guilt. Okay. Then secondly, we have Venus in Gemini in the fourth house. Yeah, I definitely think if this is a love relationship that either they cheated, to be frank, and you know about it. Like I'm not saying they've cheated and you don't know about it. You'd know about it in this spread if that had happened. Or they're just they've been flirtatious with others, or you don't know, like the energy is like, it feels like, like, are they being true to you or not? And and I think, there's that kind of dynamic going on about how they love and who they are at the core, and whether it's kind of like more than one person that they could be interested in. If it's not around love, then I think that there is a lot of communication energy about they want to communicate who they are and they want to be seen for who they are. So I think if you understand that, that's what's triggered whatever this was. And what are they getting from you? So first of all, we have Venus in Leo in the first house. Yeah, they feel that you're very confident around your attractiveness, if this is around love, or you're very confident around who you are and how you're presenting yourself to the world. I don't think they feel competitive, but I think they feel unseen because you have such a big presence. Okay, and what else? We have the fifth house, Jupiter in Virgo. They do definitely feel that you would be an ideal love partner if it's about love. They feel that you're actually really kind and like it's a healthy, grounded sort of energy around romance. They also think if it's not around romance, you're very inspiring, very creative and very generous. So they definitely feel like, as I say, whatever this is, whether it was, like cheating or flirting or whatever in a love relationship, or whether it was sort of like, going off and doing something that felt like a betrayal or unfair or not right, in a friendship relationship or a work relationship, they do see you as fundamentally very generous and very grounded, and they, as I say, they kind of feel guilty. But I do think overall, I think you'll move towards going, oh, it's okay, I understand them now. I think it's moving in a direction towards that energy rather than that energy or that energy. So I think there's a positivity here. I think whatever it is, they've learnt their lesson. So let's have a look at some song energy. So we're going to have a song for them, about you, and then you about them, and then the energy between you. So them in relation to you. Lion eyes. Yeah, I think they did something. I think, and they know that you know. But like whether it's love or whether it's something else, but like whatever it is, they do actually know that you know, and they're dealing with that. And I think you just need to know that they know and that they do regret it. What about you in relation to them? You don't own me. Wow, okay. Yeah. There's definitely something here where they've got to make up some stuff. And, it's up to them, I guess. But I do think there's a potential here. What's the combined energy? Ain't no sunshine. Okay, so they certainly feel that if they're not around you. That's what I'm saying. At its core, there's something good in this relationship. So if you walked away entirely because of that, without understanding what was going on and without forgiving, then yeah, you'd be free. But it would still be a sad thing. You would feel sad if that happened. And then equally for them, certainly if you weren't there, there would be no sunshine. So I think this is a reparable situation, whatever type of relationship it is, but they definitely did something that they regret. So let's finish up with a synthesizing message. So I'm going to use a different tarot. So please choose a number between 1 and 5, because depending upon which one you choose, that will be your synthesizing message. So pause if you need to, because I'm about to deal out. So number 1, 5 of Cups reversed. Number 2, Temperance. Number 3, the Empress reversed. Number 4, Page of Wands. Number 5, 3 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. If you chose number 1, then there is definitely a chance for the emotional sort of disappointment to dissipate and be moved through. So I think it's got a very good chance of getting to that point. And I don't think they'll repeat what they did, but it will be helpful to understand why they did it. If you chose number 2 with Temperance, I definitely think it's going to come to that balancing level. Maybe largely because of you, because I do feel you're the more mature person at the moment in this relationship, in whatever type of relationship it is. But it is important to see it from both sides and to understand both sides. If you chose number 3, there might have been an element where this person not exactly took you for granted, because I don't think they felt seen, but they need to shift a relationship energy, I think, with you, so that you don't feel like you're having to always be the mature one and the mother almost of the situation in a way. So that needs to shift. It's not just whether they felt unseen. It's also what were they expecting of you. Now, if that can be worked out, then you get to the good balance. If you chose number 4, if it's a love relationship, there is actually quite a lot of passion between you, but it's relatively early and young, and you've got to work out what you want to do with it. If it's not a love relationship, then there's a creative energy between the two of you that, if you work this out, is actually very positive. And if you chose number 5, then either this is a love relationship or it's a family relationship, because it's not really about friendship. If you are working together or something like that, then there is some other dynamic that feels more like family or feels more like a lover, whatever that means to you. Because it's not a straight friendship energy, this, I don't think. There's more complexity to it. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.